Hi everyone, this is Mr. Ramirez here. I'm just going to review the part of the staff and where everything lies within the staff. Just for a review for some of you, and for some of you, this may be again the first time you see some of this information. So just follow through as I point out the different parts of the staff, which is the 5 lines and 4 spaces where music is written. So when I'm talking about a staff, again, I said 5 lines and 4 spaces. These are the 5 lines. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and within those 5 lines, we have the spaces in between each of those 5 lines. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this whole thing is a staff. Now we have in this thing, we have 2 staffs. So we have one staff here and the next staff here. At the beginning of each staff, we have 2 different symbols. What these symbols are, this is called the treble clef. Maybe some of you are familiar with it just by seeing it in different things out there, like shirts or even tattoos or different things. But the name of it is called the treble clef. And it is a symbol at the beginning of the staff for higher ranges. This one down here, it is called the bass clef. And it looks like this, and it is a symbol at the beginning of the staff for lower ranges. So typically the treble voices, typically, not always, is the women that we sing here, the soprano or altos, and here usually the men, the tenor and basses, but sometimes you may have some men singing up here and some women down here, and that is okay. So you typically is the soprano part singing up here, and the soprano and alto, and then the bass and tenor down here. Next, we have what is called our key signature, and this is what it is. If you ever see this B looking thing, which is a flat, we have it down here. It's called a flat, or sometimes you may see a sharp, this right here, and it looks like a number sign or a hashtag, but it is called a sharp. So you will see that after either the treble clef or the bass clef, and usually if you see 2, it'll be the same one. There is not always one of those. There's sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll go over more of that later on. So you have your clef, either bass or treble, and then you have your key signature. And that, again, it appears after the clef and helps identify where do is at. After that, we have our time signature, and it's these 2 numbers that you see here, and that is always after your key signature, and that is a symbol that looks like a fraction. The top number tells you how many beats are in the measure, and the bottom number tells you what kind of note gets to beat. So we'll go over that later on. For right now, just know that those numbers mean that it is the time signature. After that, we have what is called a bar line. So when you see just one line in the staff that goes up and down, that's called a bar line, or a measure line. And a bar line is a vertical line that separates the staff into measures. So it just kind of gives us a start and a beginning to a measure. Measure is the distance between one bar line to the next. So this would be measure 1, and then measure 2 will be right here, because this is one bar line to this one. This one is not a bar line because it has more than one line. So this is what we call simple a double bar line. And that is 2 vertical lines, so up and down, one normal and one thick at the end of the staff and at the end of the music of a musical piece. So it just lets you know that double bar line just lets you know that it's the end of a music, the end of whatever piece. Again, we have the sharp and a flat, so remember what those look like, and that is typically right here, and there's sometimes more than one. It doesn't mean there's always going to be just one, or sometimes you don't have any, and we'll go through that later on how to identify what key we're on and what do is and all that kind of good stuff. So just remember, Staff, 5 lines, 4 spaces. That's called the staff. We have the treble clef, bass clef at the very beginning, key signature. Right after that, time signature. After that, we have the bar line or the measure line. Then we have a measure. Remember, it's the distance between 2 bar lines. This would be measure 1. From here to here would be measure 2. Then at the end of the piece of music, you have a double bar line, 1 thin and 1 thick. And that just indicates that you're done with that piece of music. I hope this helps. Again, later on, we'll be going through more in depth of what each of these things do and how they work within the music. So I hope you have a great day.